Hi guys, this is Dima the tutor. In this practical video, I would like to have a practical look with you at some of Duolingo reading tasks. I'm sure the practical, positive ramification of this for you is that if you're getting ready for Duolingo and you probably have not seen any real tasks yet, I mean those tasks which were given to candidates at real Duolingos, for instance, 2 months ago, half a year ago, but they are real, authentic. Given that there are no textbooks yet, maybe luckily for Duolingo because it's a young test, we have to find something practical. Yeah? If you pass this practice Duolingo test, which is located at their website, I have passed it several times and my students have passed it multiple times. There are pluses and minuses to it. Pluses is that, of course, it allows you to catch some glimpse, yet to form some, I don't know, impression of the test. But the minus is that, firstly, it's much, much easier than the actual test. Not all types of tasks are included there. And secondly, I have never met, if you take this, for instance, text from reading, you will see now that the level of it is much higher than of any of those that are given at Practice Duolingo, you see? So in this way, the candidate, let's say this candidate, he or she does not have a real impression of the complexity and the level of difficulty of real Duolingo. And so now you will have some impression, I guarantee, because we will try to discuss the works of one of my student, like ex-student, 2 or 3 or 4 of the readings, they are all hard level. If you don't know, I'll prompt you that Duolingo usually divides all its tasks into 3 levels: easy, medium, and high. So hard, I'm sorry, yeah. So this is the hard level. And you will see now that probably you did not expect Duolingo text to be so difficult for you. If you have an advanced level of English, it's not a big deal. You will say, nothing special. I will answer it in in 30 seconds. Yeah? But with most people, it's not the case. I think that, by the way, this student, she belongs to, let's say, 20% of those with better English. That's why you will not see many mistakes. But most of you, I think, will find here something challenging. And we will try to discuss it. I'm sure it will be of some use for you. Okay, let's get started. So what we're doing, we are reading together this text. It was her homework. It was made on some resource. This task was accomplished on some resource with those real Duolingo tasks. And you're reading while I'm reading, and you're trying to define and decide what would you put here. You see, prior to my comments, what would you put here? It's very, very useful, believe me. Okay, let's read. The US Food and Drug Administration does not strictly regulate the use of herbs, so one should be careful of how much eucalyptus they use and watch very carefully for side effects. Yeah, we will not discuss now like meaning or something because I don't know your English level, so probably this is very simple for you. Sometimes Duolingo, they select such texts in which the first and the second sentence you read and you cannot comprehend like the topic, what it is about, especially when it concerns let's say theories of information, some philosophy, sociology, politology. On the other hand, those difficult texts, they will be provided for you by the system only in case the system decides that you are capable of handling it, you see. So firstly, you will have something not like this at Duolingo, you will have something simpler, like a kindergarten, let's say, something like that. This you will be given only in case when the system feels that, he or she has such an advanced level of English, so let's try him like in this way. Okay, negative effects negative effects include skin rash. So these yellow words here are correct answers. This was given after the student clicked submit. So we will compare now those correct and here. Negative effects include skin rash, worsening of asthma, and lowering of blood sugar levels. You see, here the student guessed everything correctly. Negative effects include skin rash. Even if you don't know rash, you can guess the word skin. Yeah, you agree with me? Yes. Effects, I think it's a simple word. Asthma and a lowering of blood sugar levels. Nothing special here. Lowering, Yeah, mind your spelling. Okay, let's go on. Eucalyptus should never be ingested orally because it can lead to nausea, internal bleeding, seizures, and even death. Here, an interesting fact is that the student, she didn't guess should, yeah, and orally. Then internal, very nice. Nausea, she didn't know. So here we face a common instance at Duolingo that very often students, they don't answer correctly, not those uncommon words. I don't know nausea, whether to refer it to some uncommon, let's say more or less uncommon, yeah? Because mostly people who don't know this nausea, they will say I felt sick or something like that. Nausea is more of a technical medical term, and not all non-native speakers know nausea. So, okay, we can understand this mistake. But why the student didn't put should? It's a mystery, but I tell you it happens very, very often. Why? Because the student is excited and he or she is focused upon those catches. Like he's expecting a catch from everywhere in the text, and literally he or she doesn't notice those simple words. So I'm sure here she expected not should, but something uncommon. Yeah, something, yes, something outstanding. Well, it was just should. Orally, should never be ingested orange. So what do you think? Grammatically, is it possible? Should be ingested? I think grammatically, yes, we can say like that. Though it makes no sense. However, it can be said ingested orange. However, it sounds weird, yeah? Eucalyptus should never be ingested orange. So this was like an outcry, yeah? Very often students, when they don't know what to put, they put something. You know, I have been tutoring people for Duolingo for, let's say, 2 years or even more now. And so far, I can only recommend you to trust your intuition in this case. Because Duolingo, they don't say anything about this. Whether it's better to leave these, let's say, 3 letters missing, like 3 gaps, or to put something, even something senseless, yes, pointless, or something absurd. I don't know, nobody knows. You should judge based upon your intuition prompts, because it leads to nausea. So nausea, when you feel bad, you feel dizzy, something like that, it's called nausea. For instance, at sea, when you're at some ship, yes, on board the ship, you can feel this nausea when you are gradually swayed on the ocean, yeah. Mind you, remember this spelling, N-A-U, like nausea. You know, I love this Latin spelling of everything. It allows us to memorize everything forever. Nausea or nausea, as you like, it doesn't matter. Internal bleeding, seizures, and even death, yeah. So in this case, as I told you, it's interesting that the student knows lowering levels, okay? Internal, but she didn't put should orally. It happens, yeah? So now, please, you try to define what's your relationship with this text. If you feel that you would guess everything easily, then it's very nice. You can sway at something much higher than 120 at Duolingo. If you feel that it's very difficult, so far you're able of getting 100 or even lower for Duolingo. Okay, let's take one more thing. This is again hard, high level. So let's read. We are starting to read and trying to guess, to understand the context, the story, the style, and the message, what it is about. If you realize this, it's already 30% easier for you to fill those gaps. If you don't understand, which is often the case, I tell you, because a lot of students, they don't understand the first sentence, neither they don't understand the last sentence, so they start to put here something randomly, and as a result, they come up with something, you know, something absurd. Okay, here you see the student made more mistakes. In all her writing, one senses an observant eye for the mystery of life and for that which cannot be explained by reason of the human intellect. I guess at once that it's about writing, yeah, because in all her writing, about some writer, her, so it's a lady, a female, and so it will be about some prose or verse. We can have a look at the last one, for instance. Whereas she had once believed that man created God, she eventually came to believe that God created man. Okay, about some philosophy and writing. Okay, let's read these internal sentences. At the back of her sober, almost brutal realism, There is always an inkling of something unanswerable. So in this sentence, imagine that we don't see the correct answer or something. Sober, more or less, let's say uncommon word, yeah. Almost very common. Realism, I think more or less common. Realism, everybody knows realism. Why not? There is always an inkling. Inkling is rather an uncommon word, maybe even very uncommon. Inkling. It seems to me that prior to this text, honestly speaking, I have been dealing with English for over 20 years of my life, or even 30. I felt that I know this word, but it is used so rarely that I don't remember it. So if you don't remember inkling, it's okay. You can still get a very high score at Duolingo. Something unanswerable, okay. So sober, she didn't know. Sober, how can we define it easily? It's like not drunk. Yeah, sober. Realism. You see, at the back of her sober, almost brutal reasons. Can it be grammatically? Yes, it can. But it makes some sense? Probably yes. So here is a mistake not about English basic grammar or something, but about style, about comprehension. There is always an inkling. She didn't know inkling, and she didn't see it. Ink she sees, but of something answerable. Okay. At any rate, you see she put at all rate. I think it doesn't exist, yeah? At all rate. So you just have to know this phrase. At any rate, like anyway, this crisis radically changed her views and ideology. I don't know why my student put here changes. If we are speaking about some crisis, it is an event, yeah? Usually how we speak about events, we speak about them either in, let's say, present continuous. Probably we can speak in present simple if some crisis takes a very long time. However, or past simple. Crisis has already happened, it has already changed anything, and it has finished. So I don't know why she used here present simple. It's obvious that we should use past simple here. I'm sorry, yes, and she uses present. I don't know why. Crisis. She forgot crisis. I hope you know crisis. You see, we spell it crisis. Nothing special. Views and ideology. In the ideology she knows, and views she forgot view. I hope nothing new for you. Views and ideology. Okay, let's take quickly one more and then we'll finish. So I hope if you haven't seen real like hard texts from Duolingo, you are getting already some impression, yeah? Because remember please about that practice test that I told you about. Yeah, it's not like that. There you don't have such text. There you have some primitive, I don't know what kind of text, but usually shorter and simpler and everything. Okay, let's read. In my opinion, it is important for new and current teachers to formulate expectations not based on bias, but on the student as an individual. We see that it's about pedagogics, yes, about teaching, about teachers, philosophy, approach to teaching, methodology. Okay, usually I recommend the students to just to cast a quick glance at this last sentence. Probably sometimes, words are repeated, like they're reproduced. If you see this ignore here, it can happen here, but not always. But let's say 50-50. Teachers must think of the student first and ignore self-interest. Okay, everything I think is comprehensible. This is not a text where you don't understand what it is about, having read 2 sentences. But I assure you, you will face such texts. They exist. I will show you in later videos. Okay, let's read this. All students, regardless of achievement labels, should be held to similar general expectations. All students, okay, regardless of, very nice, she knows this adverb, achievement. Here I think it was a typo, a mechanical mistake, but it led to a mistake, to the global mistake here. You see, achievement, she forgot letter E. If we spell it in a Latin manner, we have achievement, yeah? And she lost E. So she lost E, then she clicked, then she sees, wow, there is an extra letter, and she thought that probably she can fill it with S. But yeah, this is a mistake, like childish mistake. I think the system will, I don't know what the system will decide, whether it's a typo or whether the student really doesn't know that here we should have E, yeah? Who knows? I think it will be based upon your whole performance on the whole test and should be held to similar general expectations. Okay, General, regardless of. I think here the most difficult phrase is regardless of, like irrespective of, regardless of. Okay. The exception to this should be based only on the severity of a cognitive disability and its impact on learning and behavior. Nice, clever sentences, yes, very philosophical and like rich with information, like informationally saturated sentences. I love them, but to fill them here, you need to have some decent level of English. The exception. Why she didn't know exception? I don't know. Exception. You see, EXC. Remember about this. Exception to this. So except because she didn't know here, and she put to them. But why to them? Yes, to them. To this. No, yeah. It's possible to make this mistake. If you don't understand here, it ruins your answer here. Should be based only on the severity of a cognitive disability. Very nice. Cognitive. Cognitive means connected with your learning process. Like you cognize the world around you. Let's say practically, empirically. So it's called cognitive process. When you learn about something, you form some impressions of this. It's called cognitive cognition. Cognitive disability and its impact, nice word, more or less common but not very, on learning and behavior. Learning and behavior, they are two common words, nothing special. So I don't know honestly why the student, she has made a mistake here, exception to this. I don't know. Again, you see, look at this. You have the instance when the mistakes are mostly not in those very hard uncommon words, but here we forgot a letter, here we were frozen, like we were glitched. Yes, and we didn't know exception, though I'm sure that she knows exception. This exception led us to write something incorrect here, and that is the case. Anyway, overall, if you look at these three hard texts, yeah, we can say that she did more or less well. I'm sure that this answer, for instance, if she had in theory such three texts, which is not very likely at the actual Duolingo, they will not maybe give you three such hard texts, but two, for instance, yeah, she would get like 120 maybe. I mean, for the overall test, it's just a supposition. It's not, but not more, because for more you need to fill in all those nauseas and all that jazz. Yes, inkling. Crisis, yeah. If she put everything here, it would smell something like 130, 140, yes, something like that. So you can have your idea now about your supposed success at Duolingo, your prospective like success. What do you think of that? If you feel it's easy for you, congratulations, you can like practice and you will get 130, 140 or even more. If you feel it's extremely difficult and you need something like 120 plus for Duolingo, it's not yet time for you to sit at the test. You should prepare. How to prepare, it's another question. If you have a lot of time, it's very nice, yeah? You can like 1 year or something. If you have 2 weeks, it's one of the, I don't know, one of the, let's say, greatest intellectual challenges for you and for your tutor in all your life. By the way, yeah, about tutoring, if you need my professional assistance, then you're welcome to address me. You can contact me directly in WhatsApp. I place the number of my WhatsApp in the description to this video, or you're welcome to go to my webpage, and there you fill out the form and I will respond very promptly. Okay guys, I wish you success at Duolingo, and I wish you the pleasure of the very process of getting ready for this interesting, outstanding test. Okay, be blessed and feel good, and see you in our next video.